target. Right.
Screen time!
I remember we used to shoot, and one time you hit 9 out of 10 from that spot.
Oh, right.
And we were practicing. You beat me on the threes, and you would go around the three-point line, right? Yeah. But if you remember that grade 9 math project, we had to choose a topic about it. So we went to the library, and we chose basketball. We just knew we had that in common, so that's where we started, and I think everything originated from that moment.
And then the year after that, grade 10, just staying after school till like 9, 10 p.m., playing ones, playing King's Court. Yeah, good memories, man.
People thought we were crazy. If you remember, like, it was a time when there was like restrictions, right? So when you couldn't really stay after school, you weren't allowed, but we stayed anyways and studied in the classrooms, went to play hoops, and that was our entire day. And every single time we had to hide in the classroom so he wouldn't see us, so that when he was leaving work at like 5 or 6, we would just hide, do our homework until then, and then once he left, the gym was all ours. So that was one hell of a time, man.
Bro, and we got so close with the custodians.
We're not allowed to play. That same friendship, that same bond would have never grown. We would have never, you know, been so close with William.
Yeah.
Thankfully we did, and then I guess grade 10 up until the end of grade 10, we were still in it. We were still trying to make it to provincials. I don't know, that time it felt like we could do it. It felt like we could do anything. It felt like we could make it to provincials and make a deep run, but it never ended up happening. ElevAsian is a community initiative that aims to elevate and empower Asian athletes to be the best they can in their sport. Our whole purpose is to connect their heritage and culture to their sporting community and environment and really tie those two together.
Obviously, first year doing this, we're starting really local, but I really love that we're local, right? We're just lower mainland based, Vancouver based. And I think one way we can grow is to just inspire more local communities to do this in their communities, right? Like Alberta, they can do one in Edmonton, Calgary.
Funny enough, like a bunch of players messaged me on Instagram. They're like, yo, is this for BC only, or can Alberta Hoopers join as well? And I thought that was so cool for them to notice that and also take action. That was inspiring, man. I wish I was like that when I was a kid, because yeah, I don't think I shot enough shots and got myself out there enough to give me that chance and opportunity, and that's kind of the platform that we're trying to provide. Oh, I think I called like maybe 40 businesses, and I just sent like, 10 different emails. 4 of them got back to me, and I got better at it. I started making cold calls, and from then it was like much easier to get the attention of people. And yeah, by especially asking basketball clubs, that was the biggest turning point, because restaurants, they love the support, they love the community culture aspect of it, but they weren't really into the basketball. Only a few of them were, right? We've already sold 600 tickets. It's only going to go up from here, and with the event in 4 days, like I just think it's going to turn out so well. Hey, maybe we even put like people's Asian names on their jerseys. Something like that where, we have flags right now. The players will hold up their flags, get pictures, hopefully share that online and keep that as, a keepsake. But, it can go even further. Jerseys, right? Hand out awards, scholarships, so many different avenues that we can go down to hopefully bring these people up.
One more.
Oh yeah, let's go.
There we go.
Oh yeah, come on. course, it's a lot of work that I put in, as well as my team as well. I'm really grateful for them into making this possible. We've already sold 600 tickets. This is the biggest Asian community and sporting event in all of Vancouver. I've been saving this big package here. This is actually a huge photo booth kind of backdrop. All right, lay this out. Okay, wow. So I think ElevAsian was really just an idea. I brought it up to my friend Vincent, and we spoke about it, but never really knew if it was gonna work. Need sponsorship, need supporters, need people to help us organize this entire event. And I was really lucky to speak to a bunch of big names in the basketball community. I spoke to Vivian Chan, Reagan Mendoza, and these people all validated my idea. As we did more calls, as we reached out to more people, the sponsorships just started coming in, and with blink of an eye, it was now $2,000 in sponsorships, $3,000, and now we're actually in a position where, hey, this event is now possible. And so thanks to those people that validated this kind of issue, but also just wanted to support the event in general, really helped us make it happen.
I've started to play basketball around the age of 10, so I'm a kind of a late bloomer. My dad got me into it. I started playing at Steve Nash basketball at Hillcrest Community Center. And then I also went to Strathcona to play a bunch of other basketball in that community as well. And that kind of grew the love of the sport that I have today. And I went to Notre Dame, which is here in this school. Started playing also for split-second basketball in grade 8 as well. They helped me tremendously on where I wanted to go, especially for my future and my career. So yeah, I've always had the love of the sport, especially with the big family of mine. I have a family of 6. We always play basketball with each other when we were younger, so basketball is definitely something that's implemented in my life.
In the high school basketball scene, a lot of girls they get less coverage than the boys. It might be more exciting to watch the boys, but it doesn't mean the girls are less talented, less skilled.
When I was growing up, there was definitely a big gap between the men's and the women's. And when you try to play in provincials, we never got that big arena. Women's sports has really grown a lot, and I've seen a lot of great players, and I'm sure there's more D1 commits in the women's basketball community more than the men's. Even on post, there's over like 15 commits the past couple of years, or even more, of women's basketball athletes committing to D1 from BC, so that's really big. And I feel like they deserve a lot more of that spotlight. But they have, yeah.
Girls are actually more in a position to play at the post-secondary level. So it is almost undisputed that girls are better at basketball than boys in BC. So many of our players have gone to play Division 1 in the States, gone to have successful careers in basketball, more than the boys even.
Kobe and I, we ran back like way back in the day. Technically kind of grew up together, bumped into each other at AU games, and just like always were close. And then when he started his sports media journey, I was really happy to see him show progress in that. And now to him building up to having ElevAsian, I'm really, really proud of him.
So hopefully we have their like big country flags, 3x5 feet flags draped on their shoulders, have them take a couple media day photos in front of this big banner, and have that as a keepsake for the players themselves, but also their families, possibly their relatives back in their home country, for them to see that they're representing, they're acknowledging, and they're really empowered to represent their culture. That's the biggest thing. This was something that I remember always going into the girls' provincial final, sitting courtside, but just on the normal center court. But for the boys, it was always in the Arena Bowls, always in the brightest lights. With ElevAsian, we're hoping that people can come and attend both, right? Maybe you're here for the boys game, but come for the girls as well. Really show them some support, and yeah, it's super important. It's something that I stand for completely, and something that you need to really focus on as well as a collective in the sports world.
It's a lot bigger than I expected. It's going to be fun. It's a lot of excitement here. Just having a lot of friends and family here. It's just going to be a fun game.
It's good to recognize all like the Asian hoopers. I don't think they've had an event like this before. And of course my daughter, she's playing on this team here, so out here to support, and all her teammates as well.
Into Hoops was a small community event that started in 1985. I took over in the mid-90s. Here we are many, many decades later. We have some of the top Indian players from across Australia, the US, and back east coming to Vancouver playing every year in our national tournaments.
Obviously, just being around my dad, he's a basketball junkie. I fell in love with the game just being at Into Hoops.
Because it's post-COVID, and we were thinking about, hey, how can we kind of elevate the tournament? So one of our local tournaments is the Seattle Sea Coops tournament. They're good friends of ours.
I think we thought of it on the drive to Seattle.
All the guys who play basketball love basketball. I think one thing that we do better than playing basketball is talking about basketball.
What can we do from social media? And we thought of the questions in the car.
I was recording, we had no mics. You can barely hear him because, there's only a 9-year-old. You could actually hear the basketball in the background today, whereas now, we'll be doing a full production. You'll have a whole NHL team or MLS team with their whole media team recording and like 5-6 cameras on him. So it's come full circle. We went for dinner and he's like, Dad, I really like this. I was like, yeah, you're pretty good at it. And then we started preparing more questions for the next day. And so just kind of took off like that, right?
The importance of culture in basketball is very, very high. I'd say as a team, you go on team trips, you're eating food, and especially if you're on a diverse team, you're eating food from different cultures. People are bringing different families to the games, you're learning new languages, and you're just building that connection with somebody, let's say, of something you never thought you might have before. Basketball for me became a passion right when I picked it up when I was 7 years old. So I grew up in Ontario with a lot of diverse people, and we all grew up playing basketball, and it was kind of our way to escape from school. When we started having dreams, going to the NBA, going to play professional, and eventually it led me to British Columbia, the US, and all over Asia. I would say in North America, the opportunities for basketball are based in training. Our programs, our system, our basketball education is a lot more ahead than I'd say most Asian countries.
Because when I saw my sister playing basketball, I wanted to join.
For me, it was my dad. He put me a lot of clubs and camps in Vancouver. I tried out for this girls team, but it was a bit too far. So this boys team I started playing, it was more closer to me in Burnaby. And when playing with the boys, they would try to just score from themselves. And whereas when I started playing with the girls, it was a lot of teamwork based. What I get out of basketball the most is my connections. The coaches, they really try to uplift me, try to put me in positions where I could score.
I'm just super excited, man. It's such a great event. Especially I have some of my teammates like Jaden Shergill, Samir Sander, who I'm very close with, who are also competing today. So I'm excited to play against them today and represent Punjab. So I have 2 older brothers. They kind of paved the way for me. They started basketball earlier than me. I used to play soccer beforehand. And watching them play sparked an interest in me. My 2 brothers are probably my biggest supporters. They're always on me for schoolwork. Obviously being a student athlete is pretty hard. I feel like that's built a lot of character, and they probably helped me the most with my journey.
In the present day, it's almost shifted a bit where now it's a lot about doing both together. They're calling it co-curricular activities instead of extracurricular activities. Despite the cultural limitations of not being able to pursue sports at the highest level, people are taking it way more serious now. You're seeing more Asian heritage players play in college, play professionally, and with that movement, there's only going to be more and more possibility and potential for these athletes to do more things.
When Colby reached out, my first thing was, hey, how can we provide support in terms of what we know about events like this, and also see if there's a way that we can help financially support the event. And I'm very happy we did that because the events turned out to be a great success.
My dad was a big basketball fan. He wanted me to be named after Kobe Bryant, so there we go. That was the name part of it. The biggest thing is representation. That's always something that I had in the back of my mind, and something that was really ingrained to me, yeah, since I was a kid, right?
Giving back is very important to me because I've been in Kobe's shoes. So when he reached out, it was just a quick call. That quick call turns into over hour-long call and multiple calls thereafter. Back then, knowing even if we were to get a $50 check from a sponsor, how far that would go. Because I know Kobe's putting in hundreds of hours, him and his team, to put this event on.
When you're normally at a regular high school basketball game, you'll probably only see one bleacher filled up, not even, maybe half, or like a couple of students watching after school. But because this was during the break, I felt like that was the perfect time to bring families and the community together. And both bleachers and even up top at the front of the schools, it was already all packed.
That's what the whole goal is for these younger athletes, is to see the grade 11, grade 12 athletes playing at this high level, playing in this all-star game and going on to play post-secondary basketball. And for these younger kids to be like, hey, I can do that too. And so it's all about the representation. I think that's the starting point for anything. If you want to create change, you got to have representation, and that representation will snowball into so much more down the line.
We're not alone, we're a family, you know? We shouldn't be felt to be separated in a way. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Excited, man. Show the flag, show the flag, show the flag.
I was always told that school's number one. And of course, despite even playing basketball at the highest levels, for a lot of people, that's also true.
When the March Madness last year happened, I think it was Caitlin Clark against Paige Beckers, I want to say. Tickets prices were almost like $2,000 to $3,000 to watch a women's game, and the whole arena would be sold out. So because of those spotlight players, it really changed the culture of women's basketball, especially today. Coming from an immigrant family, you kind of expect, you know, your parents work so hard to get to where we are today. They want the best for us, which I get it. Of course, their expectations are pretty high, so they expect us to go to the top schools, to have a high-paying job, but they've never really seen the passion side of things.
You know, some of the great basketball players, Jeremy Lin, Xavier Lee, like all of these players who have played at that next level and have done great things in the sport of basketball. It's always school first and, of course, sports second.
So if a young athlete wanted to play basketball, obviously the parents are gonna be like, no, you can't play basketball because that's not gonna make you any money, right?
I want to go back to when we grew up. There was no nutrition, right? There was no load management back then. You just played all day in the sun.
When I was growing up, nutrition was something you thought about and you heard about, but at the same time, being from a dominated Asian family, you're eating a lot of rich food, and especially because I'm Filipino, you're eating a lot of pork and meat and rice, not a lot of vegetables really, actually.
We know that, hey, we could have been a lot healthier if we'd eaten better. So from an athletic perspective, parents today are taking their kids after games, not to 7-Eleven, but hey, going and having healthy meals or preparing food meal prep.
It's not enforced enough. Come to Canada, and because they don't know what food is here in Canada, they're eating McDonald's and stuff like that, and they're just eating whatever's available. And I feel like the education on sports and sports nutrition needs to be passed along to children in high school, not just when you get to university or afterwards.
They see professional athletes talking about their meal prep, this and that. So it's, you know, why would you go eat at a fast food joint when you can have something healthy? Because they're investing so much time and money into becoming a better player. But on-court activities is one part. Sleep, nutrition, they all go hand in hand.
I think there's a really high pressure on those athletes. We all know that they deserve that spotlight because they worked so hard to be where they want to be, but you can kind of feel the tension between the player and the team, or even the parents or the crowds. I noticed that there's not enough Asians being recognized for their hard work, especially those are the ones that are passionate in the sport, hardworking, waking up really early, grinding to get, to where they want to be, but they don't get noticed is because we're not having events like ElevAsian.
I feel like every athlete goes through those. When I have such a big group around me supporting me, and you have those bad games, you feel like you're letting everybody down.
I remember playing in my grade 12 year for my high school, playing as one of the top teams in the province. We were excited. This was the number 2 or 3 ranked AA school. We lost that game, but near the end of the game was really eye-opening because one of the players called myself and another teammate racial slurs in the handshake line. It was not, of course, the best feeling, but something that I remembered.
I felt some inequality and a consistent feeling of being judged as soon as you step into the basketball gym. They see you and they see, okay, an Asian guy, okay, he's shorter than most other players, okay, and he's probably not that loud, he's not communicative, he's just a nice guy. And I feel like those are good things, good qualities to have, but I feel like they are overlooked in the game of basketball.
The discrimination isn't very obvious. It's not people actively cutting us from a team because of our skin color, but it's more underlying than that. It's more subtle. It's more under the actual words that people say.
And in basketball, there's a lot of first impressions. First impressions matter, and a lot of times those first impressions aren't just on skill, it's how you look.
I can't speak for all brown athletes, but for myself, I know I'm below average height and I'm below average weight, so I'm a little smaller. So I just try to work 2 times harder on my skill just to become a better player.
I always tell them, control what you can control. We can't control height, even though sometimes our grandparents will tell us to do different stretching exercises, we'll grow half an inch. But I said, control what you can control. And I said, what you can control is how much work you put in.
We have that mindset going to every tournament where it's like, they don't know who we are, we're gonna show them, and we're gonna make them remember who we are.
We're very lucky in British Columbia that basketball is culturally diverse.
Those small moments compound. You don't realize how much one moment can impact someone. And for me being, just 12 years old at the time, my brother as well being even younger, those are moments that stuck with us and continue to kind of remind us, whenever that kind of comes into play.
So it doesn't matter if you're Indian, Chinese, Filipino, white or black, everyone loves basketball, and that comes first.
Remember when you wanted to play collegiate and that was just your whole dream?
Forever it was my dream, man. And
yeah.
I remember. It was grade 10 when the dream first collapsed. Because, since 4 years old, it was all basketball. Until that wall hit. I really wanted to play at the college level, so, throughout high school, playing on my club basketball team, Vancouver Sports Club, for a number of years. That was my sole purpose, was to play at that next level. I mentioned, it wasn't always going to work out that way, and in grade 10 I was cut from my club basketball team. Yeah, I was really into it. That was my dream, right? It's hard not to when your name's Kobe, when you play basketball all your life. Since 4 years old, man, it was just basketball, everything. It was ingrained into, my life, my family, my brother. Everything was just about basketball. And I don't know if you remember grade 10 when everything kind of just started to slip, started to change.
I've noticed a lot of players, including myself at one point, I was chasing the professional dream, okay, but that takes a lot of time. And then you have to worry about how much you're paying for rent, food, so you have to work another job. And it's like you're still in university. You gotta work and you gotta play. It's definitely not easy, but it's a grind.
I played with those guys since I was 4 years old, and to then be cut from it and just be completely distanced from that same environment was honestly eye-opening. But that was also kind of the first moment when, I don't know if I could play collegiate basketball anymore, right? Without that opportunity, without that mindset, it was difficult. It's continued to shift in the direction of me being involved in the game in other ways, and hopefully that'll be yeah, yeah.
Actually, growing up, I was fortunate enough not to really experience much of that discrimination. I'm one of the lucky ones. I think I grew up with a good environment. And I think with ElevAsian, what we're trying to do is just emphasize the point that Asians should be treated like basketball players, just like everyone else, you know?
You can bring a team together because of how nice you are, okay? And because they think you're the most skilled, then show them that you are the most skilled, okay? And then when it comes to being loud, that's just something that you build as a team, right? I don't think you should be judged on how loud you are as soon as you walk into the gym. You should have time to grow.
It's really validating in the way I'm valued as an Asian and a woman. I'm excited to see how everything grows over time.
I think gender inequality within basketball is still relevant.
A simple example would be like the boys' trophies would be a lot more bigger than the girls' trophies. And then a recent example would be how for us, the girls' basketball for provincials, we just started playing in the Arena Bowl, whereas the boys, they played in the Arena Bowl first round.
You see a lot of basketball programs that are catered towards boys. And even if they are open to girls, it's hard to market that. Okay, especially in British Columbia, you're seeing a lot of more female athletes. Like I said, providing a safe space for women is very important.
But this generation, there's so many things that you have to, put money towards. There's like ID camp, private training sessions, all that type of stuff, and AAU fees. It all adds up.
Because our parents are like new immigrants who are working hard, and they're like, you want to go play basketball? These shoes are $50.
Basketball isn't seen as a necessity. You know what I mean? It's more seen as a hobby.
Parents always want the best for their kids, and they only know what they know.
I mean, like, it sucks to hear, but there's definitely a lot of athletes going through that. It's hard for them to get support as well. People like to use basketball as an escape room.
Each time they see someone from our community doing good and doing big things, I feel like that narrative of it just being a hobby and can be more than that, it's slowly disappearing. Without my brothers, they've been through it, right? The student athlete part, it's hard. You know what I mean? Training all day, being exhausted, then coming home, you gotta study. So it's like, okay, you know what, I have time, I have the support, yeah, I can do it. So like, it's just pushing through.
And that's the game. Final score, Team White 72, Team Red 67. Announce the player of the game from
Winning for the women's team, that was so cool. Being able to draft our own players, I think that was the coolest experience ever. So the way that Kobe formatted that was a really good idea.
Number 9, Celine!
The girls that I've coached, they were very coachable. They listened to everything that we had to say. I just told them honestly to have fun and just play their heart out because there's a lot of people watching on the court, so you really don't want to mess up. Yeah, it was a really fun experience, especially winning the game.
I would say never underestimate yourself. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you think like you can't do it, right? And you should always think that you can. And you know, with hard work and just grinding every single day, I think anything's possible.
Make sure you guys are working hard, and at the same time, and if you can, let it go. If we're able to get out of the way, you're going to take it out of bounds. Okay, 1, 2, 3, you guys got to play. You're going to bring it up and everyone else flies out, but if it's live,
I think elevation is just one part of something way bigger. And as a whole, sports across the world, we need to stop discriminating, and we need to give these young athletes the chances that they deserve.
Singer, Kunkaberti, Mateo, Gabo. Fans, give it up one more time.
What ElevAsian means to me is giving us an opportunity, giving Asian athletes, young Asian athletes opportunity and giving them hope, right? And we're in this world where there's a lot of discrimination, but we're also capable of changing it.
When I hear the term ElevAsian, I think that it means just elevating the next generation of Asian athletes.
Again, basketball is the culture here, and it doesn't have a color, it doesn't have a gender. It's everyone is a hooper. They love basketball.
Right now, a lot of athletes struggle with the battle between themselves. Okay, how can I make it? How do I compare to these other players, right? And does my culture, does my skin color, does where I come from affect my opportunities?
But in basketball, if you go look at the provincial teams right now, the best of the best in British Columbia, they have someone from every background there.
The youth basketball players need more mentors. I think there's a high accessibility and high availability of training, but it's mental, and do you see people that have been in your shoes? And I'd say especially for the Asian community, because there's not that many people who go play pro and are still in North America.
I feel valued in the way that you see my heritage is not just like my height. Filipinos are often really short, so we have like the heart over height thing, and so we use that. So I think like this is a good opportunity for them to like showcase their skills and just feel valued as a community.
Growing up in Surrey as a basketball player, I feel like there's so much support and there's so many brown hoopers in Surrey where it's like everybody's, together.
It's just hard being short, playing against with bigger guards. A lot of these Americans are like really tall and really physical, so it's just hard to match up like that.
For Indo Hoops tournaments, I think Sim's doing an amazing job. Indo Hoops is probably my favorite personal tournament for our brown community.
I think one of my biggest strengths would be my speed, my court vision, the way I pass to other people. So I think with me having a disadvantage with my height, my speed, my court vision is make the gap of my height being okay.
I've seen over the last couple of years my Asian friends go play post-secondary basketball here in BC. So I think what we have to do is continue to invest our time and resources into sport, and eventually we'll start seeing more kids playing the highest level of basketball.
You know, we talk about sacrifices. It felt like sacrifice at the time because, you know, there's so much pressure on you at that time to, you know, put these events on. And now it's like, I look back as more of an investment back into our community. And that love has been reciprocated back to me tenfold. You know, I didn't think 30, 40 years ago, hey, you know what, I'm gonna do this one day so it opens up doors for my kids. You know, you can't think that far ahead.
If you're here, it will land in your hands. You're trying to get that skip. Does that make sense?
As a sponsor, I think that this event is very important to show youth athletes that they are seen, especially in this community that we're supporting. They need to feel like they're seen so that they have more confidence, they have more belief, they have role models there now, they have media on them. It just provides a boost in their efforts, and then it feels rewarding that all the work that they're putting in actually pays off. So I think that this is very important for youth to see that it is possible.
The first thing I think of as elevating the Asian community and, you know, bringing our community up and, you know, giving us some recognition. Yeah.
Progress doesn't happen overnight. I've gotten more comfortable over time. So I would say just try and continue to work at it, and then you'll truly love something what you do.
As parents, our job is just to open doors for our children, and it's up to them what they want to do with that. And I'm proud that he's run with it. You know, he's taken advantage of every opportunity. You know, I just tell him, hey, follow your passion, do your best, and your mom and dad will support you fully, whether it be in school, sports, or media. And Into Hoops, I'm so grateful, as in a weird roundabout way, that was the start of his career, right? And again, knowing no expectations of this when he first started many decades ago, right? But it's funny how, you know, things come full circle.
But if you break it down, ElevAsian means elevating Asians. So I think the term means uplifting those in the Asian community.
I was born. I like to tell people that I was named after Kobe Bryant, so of course it's almost expected I play basketball and of course continue playing and, you know, achieve great things with the sport. You know, what basketball means to me is a lifestyle. I think it's more than just a game. I think it's more than just, you know, a sport that connects people. Of course, it connects people, but also gives structure to people's lives. Even if I'm not playing basketball, there are just so many ways for me to stay involved in the game and treat it like I was playing. Same excitement that I get stepping onto the court, even if it's in a coaching position, even if it's filming, even if it's organizing an event like this one.
Asians do bring a great extra element, and that would be skill, knowledge, and the ability to build relationships with other players. I think that's something Asians really have.
Yo, do you remember when you first pitched the idea to me? I don't know if you could tell, but I was actually really doubtful about the whole event.
I remember that.
And
You were like, I believe in it, but also no one else is going to believe in it. But that's, to go back to one of the earlier points, that's where I think the struggles come in, because a lot of Asian athletes, they don't like to speak up. They don't like to defend themselves. They think, like, I'll put in the work, I'll show up, I'll do my best, but you know, whatever external factors end up affecting my situation, I'll let it be. But you know, we can also make change, and that's why, like, I felt like doing that 2-hour session of just like calling sponsors, emailing, was so worth it, because we proved to ourselves that it was possible. Even though, you know, you were doubtful, I was honestly kind of doubtful too that it would work out, because we needed quite a bit of money to book facilities, jerseys, all that stuff.
The amount of work you put in, right? And I only saw a small part of it with the sponsorships, but even that was hours and hours, you know, across a 2-3 month span. And this was all during exam season as well, right? Like that afternoon call session was in the middle of finals. The fact that you're able to balance everything is just really impressive.
But everything else turned out pretty successful. Over 800 tickets sold is pretty impressive, especially for the first ever event. I'm really proud of Kobe.
I think when I was younger, because the media presence wasn't as big, it was a lot harder to be seen. And thankfully today, because the media scene has grown, there's so much different culture, people are working with different groups, I think that's an advantage to players they have today, and I think that they should use that and embrace it and go as far as they can with it.
Right, there's phenomenal Asian talent, young Asian players out there who deserve a platform to showcase their skills. And ElevAsian doesn't need to just be for basketball, right? We can do one for hockey, football, baseball, everything, right? Yeah, so hopefully in the future, we can explore those paths.
In the future, I envision this ElevAsian All-Star Game growing in terms of the availability and accessibility across British Columbia. I feel like we have a lot of players in the Lower Mainland playing, but of course there's players all over British Columbia, all over Canada. And maybe this event could be spread across different provinces. Okay, and I think that if it's more available, and again, if there's more marketing, more Asians will see this event, and they'll have something else, like more motivation.
It brings the community together. You also get exposure from sports media, because if there's events like those, people would want to go out and watch and support.
I mean, I've never been as ambitious of a person as you, but you know, when you pitched this idea to me, I just thought, we're starting from scratch. We're just 2 college kids, right? Like, can we really make this huge event happen? But you just kept at it, and you just showed me that anything's possible if you just keep at it.
That's the whole goal behind the event. Like, hopefully they can see our effort, our dedication and passion towards it, and also for them to, you know, see that they can hopefully take it forward in their own basketball careers. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Inspire each other and lift each other up, elevate each other together.
The one thing I would tell a youth, or the one thing I would tell a young basketball player would be to embrace who you are, embrace your culture, embrace what you believe in. And if you take that and commit all of that into the game, I truly believe you can get almost as far as you want. When I hear the term ElevAsian, I think growing Asian excellence. I think a lot about my family and my culture and how I can take it from my family house to the basketball court and show what made me who I am today and what made me the basketball player I am today.
If it's not just me, right? I used to think it was all about me, I gotta make it. I mean, my name's Kobe, I thought I was destined, right, to make it big. But it never worked out that way, but it can work out in a different way. I think one of Kobe Bryant's most famous quotes was, the most important thing to do is to inspire other people to do what they want to do. And so that's kind of the mindset I've taken in recent years, and something that I've really tried to focus on, because, you know, with ElevAsian, that's the whole purpose. It's to inspire other athletes to have them pursue that dream, because, you know what, honestly, they're probably more talented, more gifted, more athletically fit to play basketball at the next level compared to me, which, you know, I'm not saying it's not possible, but there's probably more in life than to just play at the next level. And to have others do that would be a dream to me.